Hello, I'm back from my hibernation for a very interesting topic. You see, I've been in the internet for, well, as much as most of you, for quite some time. I practically grew up with it. The one thing that we were always told, always, and this was like the lesson that we said to each other as well, never give away your data, your privacy to anyone, to anything. If somebody asks for something personal, if a site asks for some personal information, just stop. Either lie or just completely don't use that service. Get out of that site. It's malicious. It is something that has like a bad faith actor behind it. And now here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Discord is ruling something that is, well, to be expected. Honestly, we've seen it happen with other social media platforms. I mean, well, I count now Discord in the group of social media platforms, but it's not directly a Twitter or an Instagram or whatever, right? But it's nothing new. And unfortunately, this is just, one of the many things to come. Now, I just want to kick things off right away by saying, once again, reiterating what I stated at the beginning, just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth, getting this, just your ID verified for some convenience sake. You don't understand. In this time and age, like, time is the most valuable currency that you have. Of course, that's the number one thing, no discussion there. But in the age of the internet and in the age of everything is accessible right away, privacy, as hard as it is to maintain, is still a very valuable thing that you should try to keep. And there is a very solid argument to be made that, well, if you are using the internet, if you are using Amazon, if you're using eBay, if you have like a smart TV or what, any smart device at all, you're most likely compromised. You're just screwed anyway. Fair, there is some legitimacy to it, but still, to give away something as crucial as your identification essentially away for what? Doesn't make sense. For the ability to communicate with people, right? Okay, you can still use Discord, guys, freely. It's just for the 18 plus content. It's really dumb. It's really dumb. The very stupid narrative of making the internet for kids is just such a stupid argument that unfortunately goes long distance because we fail to resist this. The internet, and this is like maybe a popping a bubble for some of you guys, and I'm sorry, like I had to come to terms with this myself. It's not 2010 anymore, right? Hell, 2009, 10, 11, I would say 12, right? The internet is no longer majority, like on the internet, the majority is no longer people who are acquainted with the internet and the things, how the things work at the internet. The problem is majority of internet users now are still, I don't want to like call people stupid or something, but uneducated about the seriousness of some topics because they didn't see some of these things raw. They were not there back when internet was really just, completely let loose, even before 2010s, when you could find anything, when people could super easily dox each other if they did something wrong. It's still possible, right? But it's not being talked about so much. um, and this whole respect thing that you learned growing in that unfiltered internet, you realized that some things are more serious. This level of understanding, this level of appreciation for things like privacy or hell, even quality of content just does not exist in our current day and age. It doesn't exist in the majority of the internet users. And that's why what happens on Discord is not a surprise. We had every single good thing slowly be degraded, and it started accelerating the moment companies realized that majority of the users don't care because they are not mature enough. And I don't mean this by age, by, I would say, by internet experience, to dumb it down. They're not mature enough to understand what is good or what is bad. They don't understand that it is possible to have things better because they haven't seen it. So I say don't use Discord if it forces you to give ID or more personal information. But of course, you can technically still use it without doing so. Here is the reality check for all of us now. Why did I mention that majority of the internet just doesn't give a shit? Look at, okay, this is going to be maybe a controversial take for especially the younger generation. But I mean, look at TikTok. The fact that TikTok is still around and people who use it and people who do TikToks, all these stupid TikToks, the fact that they're still around and this hasn't become like, it hasn't been, I will to forcefully sort of put it, hasn't been turned into like a stigma thing, the equal of being a loser. If you have TikTok, if you're using TikTok, if you're watching TikTok, you're an idiot. If this is not the major sort of trend, if this is not the major understanding, this just goes to show to you that we are so far from the internet back in the day. You know what happened to Vine and all the Vine people, how we shit talked it essentially to not exist anymore at some point. This lack of understanding, this lack of quality control that was done by people is why shit like this will go on. Why I say, see, the fact that we might boycott Discord, you can uninstall Discord, go ahead, do it. Just remove Discord from your PC, never use it again. But I'll tell you what, you delete Discord today, but tomorrow, little Johnny will, for the first time in his just purchased new computer, install Discord because he wants to play Minecraft or I don't know, Fortnite with his friends, and he wants to look up how quickly to talk with them, and either his friends know about Discord or it's quite popular anyway. You don't have to really go digging to find out that you can talk with your friends via Discord and computer. So he will install Discord. Does he give a shit about the privacy thing? Does he understand what it means? Little Johnny is new to the internet. He just wants to play and just wants to have fun. He doesn't understand that it's not sort of out of the norm what is happening. And for him, in 5 years, this will be the norm because the first thing he saw was ID verification. Now, as I said, you delete it today. I delete it today. But little Johnny will install it tomorrow. And how many more of these are coming? How many more little Johnnies are on the way? And his friends, and all of these people that are newly getting into internet, getting into the computers and the cyber sphere, let's call it. It's just not feasible. You, and I'm sorry that I accept this insult, is the same for me. Like, I'm insulting myself essentially. You don't matter. You're uninstalling or not using or boycotting of Discord, in hindsight, in like 5 years, or hell, why 5 years? In 3 months, Discord will still be around and they will have no problems. In 1 year, whatever they lose as users, they will take them back in 1 year because there's no real big alternative that is super popular that kids will use. And that's important. Kids and new users who absolutely have no experience with the internet, with computers, and with how things work. It's that simple. And it will get worse because you saw something better. You saw a time where YouTube didn't have shitty content creators, where clickbait content was frowned upon, where if you had shitty claims that were never backed by facts, you were essentially booed out of the platform, where being stupid was judged in a proper way, where companies which collected data and were prejudiced and wanted to sort of infringe on your data, privacy, everything, were discussed openly. It was well communicated, and people stood against it in such a unison that things actually changed. You saw this, and you expect that, naturally, why should it get worse? We've seen better. But you forget one thing. You are the minority. I am the minority. How many of us were using internet? In 2010, how many users were there? Now, look at the numbers today. Welcome to the new age. And this is We're talking about Discord, but this is the reality for everything. Everything on the internet. The reason why there are so many stupid AI generated videos, stupid, like nonsensical videos that absolutely make no sense fact wise. People who just open the camera, lie to your face, make up stories for clickbait, and still don't get shut down by other creators because nobody cares. You remember how it used to be that if a business did something terribly wrong, they lied to their customers or didn't ship something or, scammed people, this was a big threat. This was very easy for people, an internet business, for people to sort of come together and say, don't use this service, yada yada. Same goes for content creators. If somebody was deranged and did a lot of clickbait, lied, had a lot of controversy to their name, they would probably lose their channel. Does this happen anymore? Honestly, just stop and think. When was the last time when something like this happened? And how many things you see that can be, once again, I really tie into YouTube because, hey, we are on YouTube. Welcome, by the way. How many things you see on this platform or on businesses that you just stop and think to yourself, damn, if this had happened, hell, don't go too far back. Well, 10 years is still too far, but go back 10 years. This shit would not have passed. This would not have happened. Then think to yourself, why? Why we don't get the same reaction? Just people go numb to it. They don't know any better. So, welcome. Once again, welcome to the harsh reality where I sometimes wish I was like little Johnny, that I just step into the internet today and I see all this bullshit happening and this is the norm. And I will not question it and I will not think that there is a better solution. I will not try looking for an alternative. I will not try to get my friends to use something different because this different solution would respect our privacy or whatever. No. I will simply live in bliss. I will be happy, and whenever the next stage comes, when let's say things like the MasterCard, right, like Visa, it happened, HIO. They will force you, whenever you do an internet purchase, you have to validate who you are. Is this game 18 plus? Show me your ID. Mark my words. It's actually, don't mark my words. It's so obvious what's going to happen next. This will extend to everything on the internet. And maybe companies like Steam, some companies like Steam, right? Valve specifically, will try to resist this as much as possible. But can you really, really, really sort of fight your way through a change like this? I don't think so. So we will see it everywhere. It will happen. So get used to it. Get used to it. Welcome to the new internet once again. Yeah. So just wanted to get this out of my chest. As I said, this is sort of the thing that brought me out of hibernation and this whole everyday ask for a couple stuff thing that I do on this channel nowadays. But I just wanted to get this out because I see a lot of outrage. I see a lot of, you guys just ended your company. Hell no. Are you stupid or something? How did they end their company? Are you guys insane? There was no time in the last multiple years that really the internet came together to stop something. No, this is not happening. There's so many people defending this, so many people who are ready to jump. But the dangerous part is not those people defending. It's the people who are indifferent. And that's what you forget. The majority is indifferent. So, what can you do? What can you really do? Let's just hope that Steam remains as it is for a long, long time. And, if you have any proposals as alternatives to Discord, please let me know. TeamSpeak is one that I know I used before. But let's see, maybe I really hope Valve cooks something up, but why would they? They don't need it. Anyway, I don't want to end this on a negative note. So, to try to make something positive, I honestly don't know how to flip this on a positive note, but I guess it would have been good not to know. It would have been good this one time to be completely unaware and oblivious to everything that is happening and just keep doing and pretending like this is normal that they do this. So God bless your soul if you are new to the internet, and I wish you a wonderful time. Please, if you are genuinely, if you are a new internet user, like if you started using the YouTube and like you just have a PC from, I don't know, 2020 onwards and everything, just don't look at what internet was like before. Just don't, don't. Don't build yourself those dreams and hopes that will be fulfilled is my biggest recommendation. Anyway, have a good evening, everyone. And yeah, hopefully the next ID theft event will not happen within the next month. So fingers crossed. Until then, stay safe and protect your data on the internet. Remember, it's one of the most valuable things you still have. So, goodbye.